Everyone. My story starts in 2019, and I want to take you to Beirut, Lebanon. Most of you might know what I'm talking about. It was the start of a revolution, and very quickly things escalated, and I don't need to tell you the details maybe, but if I do, things got really bad really quick. The economic situation was getting worse, the poor were becoming poorer, and the middle class was disappearing. Let me bring you back to the expat community in 2019. We were watching in devastation, we were sad, we were angry, we were helpless, we were guilty. And I want to say again, we were helpless and we were guilty. So we felt guilty. We were not guilty, but we felt guilty. The expat community divided itself to two sides. Some chose detachment to protect themselves and a way to cope with what was happening. And some said, what can we do and how fast can we start doing it? I was lucky enough to meet a group of people in Lebanon Street in downtown Los Angeles who were excited to do things and they were ready to start. Very quickly, we put a palm tree in a cedar tree, not a cliche, and we called it Califorleb. And if you haven't guessed it till now, it's California for Lebanon. The first thing we did was what everyone was doing. We started fundraising, but we knew, because we had a little bit of background from before, we knew that we did not just want to say we're sending the money to Lebanon. We wanted to tangibly turn it into a project in Lebanon. We wanted to show the people what we were exactly doing with the money we were raising. So we started just reaching out to volunteers and organizations we trusted. We started filling food boxes, and through the news and through our friends, we started finding out who was in need most and relying on our volunteers to drop those boxes. If I am to simplify that process to you right now, it will be a very interdependent process. We knew Lebanon was depending on us. We knew that we depended on the people who are donating to us, and we were depending on the volunteers that were filling these boxes and distributing them in Lebanon. Now, I will take a short break to just describe two words as I move forward. The first word is being dependent, or what is the word dependent? Basically and simply put, is two or three people depending on each other to kind of finalize a system or a process. It's a state of dependency. And social impact basically means affecting your community or people around you with your ideas or with your concept or with your policies. With that simple process of fundraising, filling boxes, and distributing them, we had created this interdependent system that was really gaining a social impact. We continued doing that until the country started losing its basics. There was no milk, there was no medication, there was no women hygiene products. As simple as that seems, people didn't have them. So what was now the simple process of just filling food boxes turned into something else. At first, we did what we thought we can do, fill in containers and ship them to Lebanon. Quickly, we realized that to even deliver those containers to the nonprofits we wanted to get them to, we needed to be part of the corrupt system. We needed to pay people to let the containers go to nonprofits. And that was the first red flag where we said, we don't want to do that. So what can we do instead? So we started an even more, and without knowing, we started an even more interdependent mechanism or system, which was something called the suitcase heroes. Very simple, we thought, right? Very inspiring, very nice. We'll tell people you're being suitcase heroes. If you're going to Lebanon, fill your suitcases with donations and take them. It was nice, it was cute, the idea was amazing, but the process. Tell people what you need donated so you can send it, because people in Lebanon are telling you, my daughter is 2, she has a heart condition, I need this specific kind of milk that I can't find, and please, you need to send it because I can't find no organization that being that specific with me. putting the word out there and being that specific in what you're collecting to send to Lebanon. And then depending on volunteers in California to gather those donations, to find the suitcase heroes to pack them, to deliver them to Lebanon, and then in Lebanon to have volunteers who will pick them up and who will personally take them to that one mother. So we know that her daughter, Jasmine, has her milk for the next 6 months. We had stepped, without even knowing it, into this interdependent world of things that was becoming harder, but it was also becoming inspiring. We could not stop. We really got addicted. Now, in that world of you doing all of this, you might not be paying attention to what you're doing, but looking at it from the outside, we had turned into leaders who were practicing every principle in interdependent leadership. We stopped being the typical leader that we were taught how to be, strong, firm, you make the decisions, the people follow you. No, it was more, we had to be vulnerable, we had to be open, and we had to be transparent. We had to listen to the community of people around us and understand when they're tired and they no longer want to send donations. And that happened. And it was their right because they had a fatigue going on. Stepping into that interdependent world and understanding my community healed me before I was healing people in Lebanon. It made me realize that I could feel less guilty, I could be more active. And from then on, I think we adapted and we adopted interdependency in general. As I was preparing this presentation, I thought about what it would be like if we start choosing our leaders, our politicians, the people we are trusting, the people we are calling leaders and heroes, how it would be like if we were choosing them based on these qualities. The qualities of them being able to create collective work and have people gather around that collective work, that mission that becomes bigger than you, so you kind of are in the system and you forget what's dividing you. They taught us, even if we didn't want it, that there are things dividing us. But within this very interdependent process, people lose that tendency to look for what's dividing them. They start understanding their role in the chain and their role in that mechanism, where they stand and how they're contributing to making things different. It was the biggest challenge today to stick to my 10 minutes, and I don't know where I am with that 10 minutes, but what I'm gonna say is, I have 2 more, I didn't see that one. Okay, good, I'm good. Okay. So I'm gonna just real quick, because I have 2 minutes, to say the story that when we were filling the suitcases with medication, we realized that every time they get to Beirut, the magnesium was being stolen. And then we realized people were taking magnesium to sleep or calm down. So we went through the process of filling the magnesiums in vitamin D capsule, like bottles, and telling the nonprofits, the vitamin D that you're seeing is not vitamin D, it's magnesium. That was the amount of detail that went into getting donations to Lebanon, and it is sad. To end the presentation, I'm gonna say, when I was preparing for this, I listened to a lady who was from Africa, and she was saying that for the longest while, she was so devastated because she loves rhinos, and she knew that every day 3 rhinos were being killed for their horns, I think, if that's what they're called. And then she said she felt frustrated until she found a group of people who were working together in interdependence to create a system where they could raise awareness in villages so that the villagers could help them stop that, and that they could entice the hunters with other sources of income so they would stop that. And she said something that I really found inspiring. She said, it is her dream to stand on a stage one day and say out loud that interdependence saved the rhinos. It is my dream today, and I hope I can say this without crying, that one day I can stand on a stage and say that interdependence saved my country. Thank you.
I I think we all get teared up thinking about our dear Lebanon, so I totally understand that. We would like to take any questions from the audience. We have a hand up over here.
Let's make it one that doesn't include crying.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned working as a collective, which I think is great. But my question was, how is living in an individualist, capitalist state work in your favor as trying to push the agenda of working as a collective?
I love that question. I don't know if the answer to that is the wisest answer I can give you, but I'll honestly tell you that I understood that being in this environment and kind of being in a culture of interdependence leadership, or understanding how you're asked to act, you have to go 99% of the way. I have to tell you that sometimes, even with my closest friends here in the US, I go 99% of the way for them to come 1% and then call that we're working together. But I can tell you for sure that once people see, I couldn't talk a lot because of the time about the social impact that's created and how people were reaching out. In this audience alone, there are 3 suitcase heroes, and that for me is such an achievement. Like, in this small sample of people, one of them filming the entire thing was a suitcase hero. Everyone that I know here carried those without even being asked twice. So people are ready. You just have to go out of your way and believe in yourself and believe. I believe in Califorleb. I believe in what we created, and I ask. And if they're like, iffy, I'm like, okay, so I'm telling you, you're doing it. So it just takes that little bit of thing. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. This was a pleasure.